Hey, Ange.
Hey Les, how's it going?
It's going well.
Good, good. I'm loving the green. You know me,
I
green.
was going to say, I am wearing your favorite color.
You are.
What about this
But
shade of green? Is this a good shade?
it's a beautiful shade. It's actually very close to the color on my toes, to
Oh,
be honest.
don't show that. Please don't show that.
Beautiful toes. Beautiful toes. Um,
I'm putting my light
regardless of the
on.
fact that on one foot my second toe is just a scotch longer than the first.
Is that the one with the toe jam?
I'm not laughing at that. That was
No, that's like a dad joke said by a mom.
and then repeated by a toddler. No.
How are you today, my dear?
I'm actually doing well for being tired. I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
I hope our listeners caught the fact that in our prior podcast, we determined that we were somewhere between 60 and death. But wait, there's hope. So check this out.
Wait,
60,
You didn't
what?
introduce the podcast. What's going on? I
Uh,
tell you, you're out of
Come
your
on.
groove, man. You're
I'm
out of
out of
your
my groove.
groove. You
I'm
need to stop
distracted.
working.
I'm distracted by the red lipstick.
Oh, what? Oh, you're.
Welcome to another episode of a red lipstick episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Listen, so Leslie and I come on at least once a week to remind women of a certain age that they can live freer, um, abundant, bold, or not bold. They can live life to its fullest in whatever way that means for you. And
Right.
we show up very um, authentically. We're clumsy, we're charming, we are curious, we're all those things, and we just want to create space for you to live your best life.
Yeah, we even forget to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, we do. Every once in a while. Every once in a
Yes.
So what are we talking about today?
So I was intrigued by this 60-minute episode.
Mhm.
I didn't view it when it aired, so I viewed the video, but I'm fascinated by it because it just speaks to us about who we are
Yeah.
as boomers and besties, but also it brings up for me content that we brought up that we spoke about in prior episodes. So there is a study, and I don't remember the centers that are conducting the study. I should have made note of that, but I was so fascinated by some other things. So I got to say, I don't know who the principal investigators are and what university they're from, but it's called the 90 plus study.
Okay.
And what that is, they look at these elderly people. Do they call them nonagenarians?
Um,
Or I know octogenarians are people in the 80s, but what are the 90s and the
whatever,
anyway?
whatever it
Have you
is, no
lived a
one knows it.
century
But
yet?
are you coming in? Are
This
you
study's
coming
for
into
you.
the
Are you sliding into 99?
slide? And
So, so they look at a cohort of elderly people aged 90 and over, and they check in with them every 6 months and do a whole battery of tests to see, to ascertain if there are some traits that are similar, if trying to find clues to their, not just their longevity, but the fact that they're thriving in their older years. So they give them memory tests. They do PET scans in order to look at some brain activity. And then obviously blood works and cognitive tests and things like that. So they follow these people on a long-term study.
Well,
Probably, I think it was from the earliest was from 2014, so 10 years at
mhm,
least.
mhm.
And oh my goodness, it tickled my medical fancy. It spoke to my nerd science head stuff.
Mhm. Which is the same thing, but okay.
But it was really something. And just remember, I said that there's remember Health 2.0.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Mhm.
So I believe
Bye-bye.
the physician is named Peter Attia, Attia.
Mhm.
Um, I'm blocking the name of his book. I should have been ready. But he describes a mindset where if you have plans to live in retirement or in your older age,
Mhm.
if you have things like, I want to travel, I want to be healthy, I want to have good, nurturing relationships,
Mhm.
the time to start is not when you're in your 80s and 90s. The time to start is now.
Okay.
So,
Is it ever too late? Meaning now, meaning
what are you
should I have
feeling like it's
started?
too late? So, in other
You
words,
know
just
what I'm
give up.
saying? I'm
Just
just
give up.
saying. I'm just saying. It's like now,
Like right now. The future is
now,
right
or
now.
last year now.
So, but check this
I
out.
just, you know,
It's
okay.
it's so interesting because what we said in that prior recording, according to this Health 2.0, is that if you want to be able to travel, you need to have physical fitness in order to get on a bus, to drive, to this or that. The time to start is now.
Right.
Maintaining your weight, your muscle tone, and things like that.
That
If
muscle. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah, it's important. If you want to have a good friendship relationship, well, the time to really nurture those types of bonds of trust and intimacy and things like that is right now.
Yeah.
So if you and I are fortunate enough, God willing, to make it to our 80s or even 90s, then don't get on my bad side.
Wait, I promise I won't, but I have to tell you
Right?
something. I have to tell you something that I did the other day. And
Okay.
and I made it, but halfway through I'm like, why, Angela? Why? So I I was gonna drive to the coffee shop day before yesterday.
Hmm.
And was it yesterday? Or was it the day before? It was yesterday. It was yesterday.
Okay.
And I actually got in the car to drive over because I thought that I was going to make some stops after. But it was so hot. I thought it was cooler. It was so hot. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to walk over there. And so close the door, whatever. And I
Hmm.
walked over. And a few hours in, so I'd looked at the eclipse and all that stuff. And I posted on my Instagram page what happened there. Maybe we'll circle back to that. But anyway, I was feeling really hungry, and sometimes I forget to eat. And someone commented on the fact that I have coffee and peanuts in the morning, um, and I had had that in the morning, but I hadn't had anything else. And this coffee shop only really has sweets.
Peanuts.
I didn't really want that. No.
Uh,
So, so I was like, okay, I need to go and get something to eat before I start feeling weak.
hmm
And so it's directly across the street from the supermarket. I'm like, oh, I needed to go to the supermarket. Anyway, let me just go to the supermarket and pick up some stuff. But I'm not thinking that I don't have the car. Okay. So tangerines were on sale. You know how heavy those are, right? They
Hmm.
were on sale. I got two packs of not tangerines, mandarins. I got two bags of those. You know, I have to have my dose of apples. Cosmic Crisp.
Hmm.
Those are my jam.
And
I
then you
got
got some
maybe
green grapes,
green and
because
red
that's a
grapes.
staple.
All yes. And all of those things are pretty weighty.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh snap.
Oh, snap.
Oh snap. This is going to be kind of heavy. But I refused to put anything back because I wanted I wanted it. I did stop myself from getting a thing of water and a few other things. So anyway, so I bag everything. I went to the self checkout.
How was
Leslie,
it? You got your workout. You're gonna
I got
live to
wait a
90.
minute. I and as I bagged everything, I purposefully like um tried to balance the weight across the bags and so on.
Hmm.
And
Sorry for messing with my
I
hair.
I was I was kind of shocked at how well I did, but at one point I'm like, okay,
I'm not gonna be able to move on.
wait,
I'm not gonna be
wait.
able to move on.
Okay, too many people are out here. It's a nice day. They're gonna see me. Something's in my eye. They're gonna see me. I have to keep moving. I have to keep moving.
You could have taken a rest like the other old people.
I refuse to. I refuse. I
But
refuse.
it was the time for self-talk, right? Like when that
Oh
happens
my
to me, I'm
gosh.
like, okay,
Oh
Les,
yeah.
you can
I'm
do
like,
it. Just a couple
you
more
know,
steps, just a couple,
yeah, yeah.
breathe,
I'm like,
breathe.
and
That's
I'm
how I
talking.
run through the
Oh,
airports,
oh,
when
something's in
I'm
my
like
eye.
short on a flight.
It was
Oh, I'm
terrible.
sorry. Keep
It wasn't
blinking.
terrible. And someone asked as I got closer to the complex, someone asked if I needed
They can
help.
help you.
And I wanted so badly to
Just
say,
say yes.
I wanted so badly to say,
And you're like,
please. I'm like,
no,
no, no,
no,
no, no,
I'm
no, I'm
okay.
fine.
What if
I'm
you
like,
collapsed at their feet?
I said, this is penance for me not doing my workout, so I'm okay. But I swear to you, when I got in, thank God I'd prepared and put my key in my pocket. It wasn't in my bag. So
You wouldn't have had
anyway,
the
when I
rifle
got
too.
in, wait a minute, I felt like my arms had elongated. I felt
Like,
like they were hanging down past my knees.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, one thing I know when I am physically active, when I'm doing my workouts and so on, the thing
Hmm.
that I like most about it is that I feel strong and I can
Yeah.
do things
You've
like
always
that.
said that.
Do you know what I mean? Without I just don't like the feeling. I feel like it's like, what? Come on.
Yeah, come on, you can do it.
Come on. What
Why
are
are you
you?
so weak?
You
You were
used to
your
be able
own
to just.
coach. You
I was like, you
you
used
were
to be
your
able
own
to just
coach.
fling it over your shoulder. What are you doing?
You were like Coach
So
Jerome. Keep it going, keep it going,
exactly.
keep it going.
Oh my
He would
gosh,
have been
but that
proud of
almost
you.
did me in. That almost did me in. Sorry, my eyes
Glad it
it's
didn't.
tearing. But anyway, I had to interject that because when you talked about being physically fit, it's not to be able to bench press a certain
Right, right.
amount.
Or run
You know what I
marathons.
mean?
It's to live life in
Yeah,
a
it's to
comfortable
live
way that you
life.
can carry
Exactly.
groceries home or walk up a
Exactly.
flight of stairs. Or let me tell you what's
Right.
really, really,
Right.
really, really, really important as we get older.
Yeah. What balance?
Not just balance per se, but if you were to fall, you
Yeah.
really need to be able to get your ass up.
Right. Not that I've fallen and I can't get up.
Right, but I
Wow.
mean, falls are a major cause of problems in
Mm,
the elderly.
wow.
In fact, there are statistics that say if an older person has a significant fall,
Mm,
their life expectancy, there's different ways of saying that, but
mm.
their life expectancy is shorter.
Ooh, why's that? Just from a
Yeah.
fall.
Well, it implies a level of well, this is like a medical term, but frailty, and that's a
Okay.
constellation of symptoms and signs of an
I
older person with
I
decreased muscle mass and
right,
failure to thrive and this and
right.
different things. But anyway, what I'm saying is we don't have to be those people who are like running and bench pressing and lifting and stuff in our older age. Just to get around, we need a certain level of, you know, health
Yeah.
in order to do that. So let me get back to the study.
Okay, go, go, go.
So it's called the 90 plus study. They had a number of people that they followed in their older years. Get
Okay.
this, I was shocked about this. Half of the children born today, that's 50% of the children born in 2024 will
Mhm.
live to 103 and 104 years old.
True.
50% of the people born in the
What?
2020s. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
50%. So there's going to be
It,
all these old people walking around,
oh,
or
wow.
I should say, elders walking around. So
So,
that
okay,
has so many implications, Ange.
okay. I have some questions, but keep going
All
because
right,
I'll,
but just think, you and I
okay.
right now, well, I'm 62, you're almost 62. But could you imagine us being podcast co-hosts for 40 more years?
Actually, I can. Yes,
I
indeed.
cannot. I cannot.
No, because you tend to, whenever you talk about our aging and the amount of time we have left, I don't like how much you cut us short. You're always talking like 20, what, 20,
20
25,
years.
maybe.
You
What do you
know,
like?
I'm
What do
being
you like?
conservative.
I
So
feel I
that,
feel really truncated when you do that.
well, the thing is, when we hit 80 and we're still spry and fly, then it'll be like a pleasant surprise. Hey, what's
Oh,
that? You still here? You woke up today? You know,
okay. All right. That's your way of kind of
that's what I'm
couching
going
the
for. Fly
couch.
and
Okay.
spry.
Okay. All right.
But
So,
another
mhm,
thing that I'm glad it came up in this study, because they showed, obviously, if they're following these people very closely, they showed they had markers and signs
mhm,
of their decline,
okay.
various declines, memory loss, or
Mhm,
physical decline,
mhm,
or mental decline, or onset of dementia.
mhm,
And I've known this because I've had training in it, but so many people look at elderly people who are confused with cognitive decline or clinical, what we call dementia, which is a constellation of things, but they automatically say Alzheimer's.
mhm. No.
And people, I like that 60-minute show showed the public that there are many forms of dementia. Alzheimer's is but one
Yeah.
type of
This is the way
dementia.
that I learned about that because, as you know, my mother had that cruel disease.
Hmm.
Um, and they did not um, refer to her disease as Alzheimer's. It was, and the way that the doctor explained it to me, which was really
Hmm.
helpful, is um, dementia is flowers and
Hmm.
Alzheimer's is a rose. So it's a
Right.
particular type of dementia.
Hmm.
So dementia is a broader. So I don't know what is particular about Alzheimer's, but I do know that it is a specific type of dementia.
Hmm.
It's not synonymous with dementia.
Right. Right.
Did I
So
get that right?
yeah, yeah, it's a subset. It's a
Hmm.
type of dementia. So one of the things that is a hallmark of Alzheimer's that separates it from other types of dementias is the brain findings in dementia
Okay.
and in Alzheimer's dementia. And there are different proteins that are present in
Mm-hmm.
Alzheimer's dementia that are not in other types of dementia, like Lewy body dementia, or there's a whole constellation of them. So get this. in some of the people that had these markers, I'll say, these or markers or plaques or protein substances in the brain that is pathognomonic or that indicates that you have Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
There are some people that weren't ill or did not show any signs of cognitive decline, even though they had these markers in the brain.
Okay, wait. So I know that they can't test for these things until the person dies, and because they have to dissect the brain.
Well, yeah,
So how do,
you certainly see it. And I got to say, I don't know if there were any markers in the blood that show that you have this substance in the brain,
right?
indicative of Alzheimer's. But actually, they had to because they would not have featured this person that had these issues, and you would have thought, or maybe they did it
No, no,
post-mortem,
no.
like after.
Okay, I didn't watch the whole thing because
Okay, so let me just
I
try
was
to explain it. Let me just,
okay.
so juicy, so juicy.
But wait, hold on. Let me
Go
just say
ahead.
one thing that will answer your question. So the the part that I saw, there was a group of um, doctors, researchers who um, were looking at the kind of clinical, what
Yeah.
presented itself as they observed and
Yeah.
interviewed these people. And
Hmm.
then there was another doctor who looks at that particular person's brain. So the person had died. There's a doctor who's looking at his brain and looking for these things going
Hmm.
on,
Yep, I recall that.
evidence. And then this other set of doctors who are looking at the clinical data and saying, what do we think this guy has?
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it is the same person that, at least in that little segment that I saw.
So, so let's just say that when they looked at his brain under the
Mhm.
microscope to see if, what was going on, they found very, very, very strong evidence of these abnormal proteins in his brain that are a diagnostic of Alzheimer's dementia.
Mhm.
Yet and still, this man had no clinical symptoms of cognitive decline. He was doing just great. No memory loss and the other things that are associated with confusion and et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, it's fascinating.
It's fascinating for you. For me, it's like, well, what the
WTF.
hell?
Well,
I'm
WTF,
just saying.
right.
It's so
So,
so
so
yeah. So
yeah,
what is
so
the so
it
what of that?
almost
Like,
so it almost seems like despite of the physical manifestations, this patient did not show it. He almost seemed like he was resistant to the uh, clinical effects of the disease, let's say, right? And
can
they
I be honest?
call, no, should I get it down a little bit more? Oh, it's not interesting to you?
No, 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 no. Oh, it's
Am
very
I boring
interesting.
you? All right, be
Not in
honest.
the least. What I'm thinking is, do these doctors know what the hell they're talking about? It's like, listen, there's no evidence of it. Then what? Do you know
Listen,
what's going on or don't you?
Leslie
That's what I'm
Stahl,
thinking.
she even said something like that to
Did-
one of the researchers. She said, it seems to me that you know less now than you knew 10 years ago about
Right,
this. And it's true because
exactly.
they're learning more and more and more. But
Right.
to finish, to put a bow on this particular situation,
Okay.
is that they realized that they called the phenomenon resilience.
Ooh,
It's almost like you're immune to the effects of these proteins in your brain.
wow.
And what they attribute to this resilience is some kind of
Red
genetic
wine? No,
mutation,
it's not red.
genetics, genetic mutation, red
Okay.
wine.
A Mediterranean diet? None of
but
those things. Okay.
but they say red wine. Why am I repeating that nonsense that you're saying? Tell my
I'm
patients
such an influencer.
exactly. But I
I'm
mean, I
so
don't want to get into the gritty details about it, but it was really
you
fascinating.
can get into the gritty details. I
Well,
am
they
not
say
in the
that
least that this is not boring to me
okay.
at all. This is
So
fascinating.
this phenomena of resilience
Mm.
makes people resist the declines that are normally associated with the Alzheimer's
Wow.
diagnosis
Wow.
because they have a genetic abnormality or difference or
Yeah.
mutation that it's almost like what is a term non-penetrance,
Hmm.
like it's something else. That's all I'll say. It was great, but what it told me
Hmm.
looking at these people is that again, we need to take the steps now. They were people who were physically active. They were dancing. They were in romantic relationships with a healthy sexual life,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And remember, Ange, when we were young, we would look at people in their 40s and 50s and say, they're old.
Why they wearing that?
They're old. And
Trying to
look
be
at them
young.
kissing. Old people
Yeah, it's
don't
like,
kiss. Oh,
yeah, that is so true.
isn't that
That I think
something?
about. Yeah, that I do think about how, like, I am just kind of recently um, referring to myself as old or elder and so on, and not feeling like that is a downer. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially referring to myself as an elder. I'm totally embracing that. I'm totally embracing seeing myself as wise, um, sharing my knowledge because
Mm-hmm.
I have the benefit of age and experience, and I can help instead of feeling like, you know, you're in kind of this state of decline all over the
Mm-hmm.
place. There are a lot of positives to aging, I
Yeah.
think. Hmm.
And I like the way that you framed it because you said you use words like elder,
Yeah.
um, older age. I think when we use the word old,
Mhm.
it implies some level of finality
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
like a terminal stage. I mean, if we are living into our 90s and
Mm.
100s and still driving and still thriving and
Still
physically
running.
active and able to engage in our surroundings in ways that are more and more independent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like old 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like I love the idea of reclaiming language that used to be used as as uh,
Pejorative.
pejorative, something to fear or something to, what I mean?
Hmm.
I like using them. Like, I know this is going to sound really crazy. Like, people use unit to describe wigs. And I've
Hmm.
never taken on that. It's like because wig had this negative connotation,
Hmm.
because of how they looked, how fake they looked back in the day. But I've never adopted that term unit. It's like, what? That's
Hmm.
it's a wig. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like in that way. I know I have these really strange analogies sometimes, but the so old to me, it's not avoiding those words. It is leaning into that and say, yeah, I'm old and beautiful, and I'm old and smart. I'm old and wise. I'm old and you know,
Hmm.
you're going to want to be old because the alternative is what? You know
Well,
what I
and
mean?
that's true, but what I'm saying about the word old is
Yeah.
that it's the whole concept around that word is changing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
whereas life expectancy 100 years ago may have been in the
Hmm.
50s or 60s,
Yeah.
if you're telling me now that people born today, half of them are going to be around when they're 104 years old, that's in
Mhm.
2130, the year 2125. It boggles the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why is that though? Like, why is the life expectancy increasing so much?
Well,
Or,
and
or
and I
and
guess
is it
that's a good that's a whole other podcast
that's a
episode
whole
that perhaps we can go into. But it has to be there's so many things that determine health and longevity and environment, and you probably know that your zip code determines how long you live.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
You know that. So in other words, when I leave this country and breathe the fresh air of wherever I'm breathing the fresh air of, you know, maybe I'll
listen,
add a couple years to my life, get out of a polluted, you know, or stress.
Leslie, I want you to stop right now having conversations about you going somewhere and referring to it as I versus we. I
We,
just want to interrupt. I want to interrupt that thinking because if you think you're going to leave me here,
your place
you,
is lovely. You'd be
if
fine.
you think you're going to leave me here, you are out of your mind.
I
You're out
have
of your
cognitive decline.
you you I will definitely
I'll email
consider
you,
it kind
baby. I'll
of
text you. I'll send you panoramic
we got
selfies.
listen, you know I'm already
Yeah, yeah, we've been talking about this for years and years. We
hmm.
just got to get our tribe to come with us and see
That's
our way,
right.
and we
That's
will.
right.
We
Yeah.
will.
We build it, they will
When we
come.
present paradise to them, you know, picture this
So Doc, and I know this is not medical advice that you're giving on this
for sure.
podcast here, but what what are some simple things or how and I know it needs to be a mind shift before anything because you know you have to believe it and want it in your mind before you actually go forward and do something with consistency, which is what is required. What
Hmm.
what do we have to think about? What do we need to um, bring to the forefront of our understanding in order to move into the health 2.0? What would you say?
I got to tell you that one of the things that I think would be vital is to believe that it's possible for you,
Okay.
that it's not someone else's victory,
Mm,
that you would be standing a sidelines and watching, that we're talking to you,
yeah.
not just those other guys.
Okay.
And I think that once you get that then you'll start feeling it's possible for me, and then I can start making small little changes.
Yeah.
Like, as I've mentioned, many and people who know me know that I've lost significant weight over the last couple of years, working really, really hard to do that. Loving and embracing exercise and working out, like I've never had my entire life, and adopting a diet, or I don't really want to call it diet, but a way of eating that is way more healthful than I've ever eaten in my life. Um, and I brag that sometimes I eat like a toddler, but most times I don't. Um, but I really think it's taking the small steps and believing that that this is something that is doable and
Yeah.
possible for you. would be, one thing. And then being smart about it, getting regular care and taking care of yourself. And mental health is a big deal.
Hmm.
It's so much of it because if you're not mentally and emotionally right, it's really it's even hard to get up in the morning. I've suffered with depression and all, and I tell you that gray umbrella over your head is so hard to push through on your own.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we got to
Um,
talk more about this. This is yeah.
one thing I'm going to add too is around the mindset. I've talked about this before. I haven't done it yet, and I think we should commit to doing it, and then we can come back and kind of talk about the experience. And that is
Okay.
writing a letter to your no, um, imagining your future self and that person writing a letter thanking yourself now for the life that they have.
Oh,
So
that's
let's
kind
say
of
a
meta.
year, but I bet you.
In fact, thinking about that made me warm.
No, so
No, 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 no. Remember the episode where we talked about writing, your daily
yes.
writing? And all of a sudden I started getting nervous and stuff. Here you are talking about writing, and all of a sudden I'm
Just
like, either I'm getting flushed.
what that was seriously. Just
Really?
imagine, just imagine yourself at 63,
Hmm.
right? Just sit in that,
Yeah.
okay?
9 months from
And
now, I think.
what are the things that you have, do, eat, uh,
Wow,
where
that's
you
really
are,
something.
who's with you, that you in that place, write to you now and say, this
Thank
is
you
what I'm doing.
for
Thank you for making these choices
drinking water
because
every day.
those types of things, those types of things. Writing that letter. I am going to commit to doing that, and I'm going to um, challenge you to do that, and we'll talk about it here because I think doing things
I
like that,
accept the challenge.
challenge. I think when we do that is when we get into the mindset that you were talking about. It is actually a mindset is actually um, taking the time to get into your head about certain
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And that so let's do it. You're
I'm
in.
I'm committed. I'm in.
Okay.
I
All
am
right.
so in.
Anyone else in? Tell us if you're in. Tell
Come
us if
on,
you're in.
come with us. Get in.
Come with us. Come
Wow,
along.
maybe it's something like in a year we can read it. And
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I
Wow.
don't like to write things down and read it in the future or
Wow.
whatever, but
Me
okay,
either. But
okay, I'm in.
this could be like a time
Pinky,
capsule
put your
thing.
pinky up. Pinky.
Beep.
I got it. Okay. Well, this
Okay.
is a perfect way to end this episode.
Yes, it is.
So,
Thank you.
thank you for listening. And Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn is produced by Angela Fraser, that lady right over there. And we also have to thank our editing team, Matt Dershowitz. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
And I really want to thank our marketing team from Couture Copywriting. They are awesome and they keep me on my toes. I got to tell you that. So, this has been another episode of Black Puma Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.